Hello passion fruits, it's your girl VH with another video. I'm super excited about this video because I think it's very educational and I think it can really help people who are trying to raise a barn owl. In this video, you'll learn what a barn owl looks like during all different stages of growing up, and you'll also learn about what will be going on mostly during all of these different phases. Before we get into the video, however, I want to give a huge thank you to Elizabeth Gogan, if that's how you pronounce it, for donating on my PayPal. I really appreciate it because you guys are never obliged to pay or donate anything, but every time someone spontaneously donates something, whether it's $1 or $20, I get really excited because this is money that I can eventually invest in better equipment to make even better and more videos for you guys. For example, a few days ago I had to buy a new video editing program because my Windows Movie Maker was full of bugs and I couldn't do the stuff I needed to do to make the videos I wanted to make for you guys. So I realized that it was time to get a better editing software. But it cost me $50, and of course I couldn't pay this with Elizabeth's donation because she didn't donate $50. But I mean, I do invest my own money in stuff to make better videos for you guys. So yeah, every donation helps me to save up for even better equipment, you know, maybe a new camera or better lighting or whatever. So even when I just receive $1, I'm super happy because, you know, I have 11,000 subscribers, and if every subscriber would like just donate $1, I would have $1,000, you know, $11,000, I'm sorry. Not that I'm begging for money here, but I just want to send a huge thank you to Elizabeth. So thanks to you, Elizabeth, I recuperated a bit of the money that I had to invest in my editing software. So I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. You just motivate me to keep making videos because, you know, when someone donates, it's just like, I don't take that for granted. We live in a very expensive world and, you know, a lot of us are struggling financially. And well, I don't know anything about you guys. Maybe you guys aren't struggling, but I know generally a lot of people are struggling financially, and so I don't take a donation for granted. So that's why I appreciate it even more. It means so much to me because every time someone donates, I'm like, wow, they really must appreciate my videos if they are willing to donate something. So thank you, Elizabeth. I really appreciated it, and you totally made my day. We're also gonna do a little disclaimer. Here goes. I am in no way encouraging you or people in general to get a pet owl. In fact, I strongly advise you not to do so, because caring for an owl requires a lot of knowledge and expertise. If you are truly passionate about having your own owl someday, then please contact a licensed falconer in your area and follow a full falconry training first in order to make sure you can get an owl in a legal way and without harming the animal. You should also be aware that in some countries it is illegal to own any owl or certain owl species. Please always respect the laws in your country or state. Please be aware that even though I do give a lot of information on raising owls and caring for them, you will not be in any way prepared to own and care for your own owl after having watched all of my videos. Like I said, caring for an owl is more difficult than it seems, and if you get an owl in spite of my advice not to, your owl might end up dead or you might end up getting hurt. Now, without further ado, let's get into the video. So first we have the egg, of course, and when the barn owl is 7 days old, it will look like this. It's still a naked, ugly and incredibly vulnerable owl chick. In this phase you might need a heat lamp if you notice the owlet is cold, because if it's too cold it might actually die. In this phase, you also want to provide your baby barn owl with a tiny blanket like in this picture, or with a tiny stuffed animal like in this video, to keep it from feeling alone. I know it sounds weird and unbelievable, but your baby owl truly needs this. When I would pull the blanket out of Lookie's box to wash it, you could tell she felt completely lost without it, and it was actually heartbreaking to watch. Your owlet will use it to snuggle against it, to have company, to keep itself warm, and to sleep on it if it's a blanket, or to sleep next to it if it's a stuffed animal. It's truly important because your owlet can actually die if you don't provide it this. During this phase, you're also going to feed it the organs and flesh of mainly mice, rats, baby mice, and baby rats. Make sure the flesh is stripped of any hair and bones, because the 21st days of an owl's life, it can't produce pellets yet. This is why you can't give it any bones or hair, because owls can't digest it, which is why they throw it up in the form of pellets. However, if you give an owlet that can't produce pellets yet, bones and hair, it might die. The pieces of meat you will give it should be super tiny, as your owlet cannot handle large chunks of meat yet. This is a phase where your owl is super vulnerable and needs extreme care. You will have to feed it up to 12 times a day. At this age, your owl will not stop eating when it's full, so it's very important to use a special technique in order to determine when you need to start and stop feeding your owl. I will discuss this technique in another video. If you don't apply this technique, you might overfeed your owl, resulting in sudden death. I'm not kidding. In this picture, the barn owl is 14 days old. This is still a super vulnerable phase. You probably won't need the heat lamp anymore, but all of the stuff I mentioned in the previous phase still applies. This is what a barn owl chick looks like at 21 days old. It's beginning to become fluffy, which is super cute, of course. After 21 days, you may slowly but surely begin to feed your owlet pieces of meat with a bit of hair on it and bones in it. But don't overdo it. You may also begin to make the pieces of meat a bit bigger than before, but don't overdo it right away. Wait with every new feeding session until your owlet has cast a small pellet, because otherwise it might choke. You should still use the special feeding technique. Here, our barn owl chick is 28 days old, and as you can see, it's starting to replace the fluff with beautiful feathers. It's really important to pick your owlet up in a certain way until it has replaced all of the fluff with feathers, because until it has all of its feathers, a feather pen might break if you handle your owl the wrong way, and then it might bleed to death. As your owl grows older, you will be able to feed it more food in one sitting, still using the special feeding technique to see when it's full, and you won't have to feed it as many times a day as you did in the beginning. This is also the phase during which your owl might start playing games with you. It might not want to eat even though it's hungry, just to mess with you. If that happens, make sure you handle your owlet in a very confident way. Notice your own body language. If you don't feel confident, then try to fake it until you make it, and you'll notice that your owlet will suddenly stop bullshitting you. It may sound weird, but young owls mess with you sometimes, and they have a weird sense of humor. So when you feed it, make sure to put your owlet on the table or whatever surface you usually feed it on in a very confident way. Also hold your owl in a very confident way as you're offering the food. Here the barn owl is 35 days old. Here it is 42 days old. And here it's 49 days old. Starting from this phase, your owl might start to pick the blanket or stuffed animal. This is because it's starting to consider it as prey, and then it's time to take it away because your owl doesn't need it anymore. Only at 56 days old will you give it its first whole one-day-old chick. You might notice I say one-day-old chick here. Until your owl is almost fully physically adult, you're going to feed it mostly mice, rats, and baby rats with one-day-old chicks in addition to that, because mice and rats contain more vitamins and minerals and are necessary if you want your owlet to grow into an adult owl with strong bones and a strong immune system. From the day it can eat whole prey, like whole mice and whole one-day-old chicks, you can switch to a diet of mainly one-day-old chicks and then rats, mice, and baby rats in addition during winter, for example. I only gave Luki her first whole prey when she was 56 days old and looked like this. I have a general rule, which is the following. You can give your owl its first whole prey from the moment it has slept standing up for at least 3 nights in a row. That's also the time it's ready to be put on a perch or in an aviary. It's possible that if you give your owl a mouse as its first whole prey, it won't be able to tear it apart yet. In that case, just give it a one-day-old chick, because that's easier to tear apart for an owl who's just learning to tear up its prey. The skin of a one-day-old chick is less rough than the skin of a mouse. In this picture, the barn owl is 63 days old. It has replaced all of the fluff with feathers and is physically adult. Every barn owl is different, however, and it might take yours a bit longer to get to this point. Until your barn owl has grown all of its feathers, don't take it outside unless it's a very warm and sunny day. Young owls get sick very easily, so I recommend you to wait at least 2.5 months before taking it outside. And that's for barn owls because depending on the owl species, it might take the owl longer or less long to grow all of its feathers. What I haven't discussed here is that as your owl grows older and gets bigger and bigger, you should also get a bigger box, obviously. There comes a time where your owl will try to jump out of the box, and that's the time where you have to put a lid on the box. But of course you're not going to fully close the box. You're going to put the lid on in a way that there's still an open space, and you're just going to put some heavy weights on the lid so that your owl can't jump against the lid and jump it off. And I hated this phase because your owl will keep jumping with its head against the lid, and it looked so sad, and I was afraid my owl would hurt herself, but she didn't, and apparently all falconers, or almost every falconer, does it like this. But I did not like that phase, but just know it's gonna happen. From the moment your owl is able to walk, you should also give it the opportunity to explore the house for 30 minutes a day so that it can develop its muscles, but never let it do this unsupervised. I'm going to end the video here, and I've probably forgot to mention a zillion things about raising an owl, which is why I did the disclaimer, because there's just so much to explain. I could make another 100 videos about raising an owl, so I guess I should just make more videos then. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As usual, just give it a big thumbs up if you liked it, and share this video on your social media platforms so that I can get more views. I need more views. And yeah, I love you guys. Also, if you're new here, then please subscribe, because then you will become a passion fruit yourself, and then we can welcome you in the family with open arms, okay? I hope you guys have a really nice day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye guys! VH is out!